every school in the country should have a metal detector. You have them at airports.
There is no pile of dead children too high for Republicans. There is no amount of carnage in our schools, in our churches, at our malls, on our streets that will turn Republicans away from their wicked ways. Yesterday, there was a shooting in Minnesota, excuse me. And 2 children were killed. More than a dozen, more than 15 were critically injured at the hands of a maniac shooter with 3 weapons. And it was as expected. It's like clockwork. All of the thoughts and prayers were being offered from on high, from the Republican ivory towers where they are safe within their secured buildings. All as an effort, all as a measure to distract from gun policy. The obvious solutions that are out there that other countries have somehow magically come to. Let me start by saying this. As I'm over a minute in here. I'm not opposed to gun ownership. It is a right enshrined in our Constitution, a document to which I swore an oath. I don't have a problem if you own a gun. Shotguns, rifles, pistols, have at it. Do your best. Fine. But we certainly need rules and regulations about who can acquire these weapons, who can carry these weapons, who can have access to these weapons to deliver sometimes at long range death and destruction. And certainly, look, as a former United States Marine, I don't believe that weapons of war should be openly carried and accessed by untrained regular citizens of the United States. No right is absolute. You don't have the absolute right to free speech. You certainly don't have the absolute right to weaponry. Try going and buying a nuclear weapon in a suitcase and tell me how you have, it's my freedom to carry whatever I want. You don't get to carry anti-tank weapons, AT-4s and the like. Yeah, no. That's a firearm, right? No. The AR-15 style weapon is a clone. Other than a 3-round burst and a couple of other options, it is the same as the M16. The M16A2 service weapon that I carried as a Marine. It's the same. It's the same powder load. It's the same caliber. It's the same. Sean Hannity yesterday attacked the truth tellers and then offered his own bit of advice. You won't be surprised to learn that the advice is that from a moron. But you also will not be surprised at who he's attacking in a moment where dead kids are now added to the list of the thousands of dead kids that the Republican Party enjoys in America. Watch as he attacks Jen Psaki in this moment.
Former Biden White House press secretary circle back Jen Psaki, trying to pin the blame on Donald Trump with a bizarre tweet citing his efforts to crack down on crime in D.C., which, by the way, for the record, circle back, he has been enormously successful in doing. She wrote, quote, when kids are getting shot in their pews at a Catholic school mass and your crime plan is to have National Guard put mulch down around D.C., maybe rethink your strategy. No, they've been stopping the murder rate, the homicide. We went 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks without a single murder. They usually have 3.6 a week. Maybe somebody at MSDNC can open a book, learn something about AI, do a little bit of research instead of just peddling lies and conspiracy theories. What about the dozens of the school shootings that have taken place, by the way, when Circle Back Psaki was press secretary? Did Biden do anything to prevent those?
It is fucking rich to hear Sean Dumb Guy Hannity tell anybody to read a book. The shadow chief of staff of Donald Trump telling someone to read a book, to do your research. The point she made was salient. It was absolutely true. But you're not going to find solutions from these people. Sean Hannity gave his solutions, and you can tell me what you think of these before we get to debunking every single thing that he says. Keep in mind, by the way, that there was time before this broadcast. He's not speaking extemporaneously like I am right now. He's looking down the barrel of a camera, which in front of is a piece of glass with the words that he's speaking on it. He's reading from a teleprompter. These are prepared remarks. They had time to think about what they were going to write. And this is what he said.
And here's the saddest part. School shootings are preventable. And simple, basic, common sense actions can mitigate these tragedies. If we have the desire to stop school shootings, this is the first thing you should do. Every school in the country should have a metal detector. You have them at airports. You have them when you're around elected politicians. By the way, they have armed guards around them. You have to control the entry of kids and the perimeter around every school. And by the way I would do it, I would hire retired military, trained law enforcement, retired with concealed carries. They should be in every school in the country, along with metal detectors, along with a secure perimeter. Now, for these people that you hire, you could even do it and not pay them. What do you mean? Hannity, everyone's going to work for free? No, offer them tax incentives if they are willing to volunteer a certain number of hours a week. I believe these common sense practices would help mitigate these horrific shootings, probably put an end to it. And by the way, that means they pay no local taxes, no state taxes, no federal taxes. And if they put in enough hours, how about no estate tax if they pass away and they get to do what they want with the money that they've already paid taxes on? And, you know, the left's rush to immediately blame Republicans, race to blame guns for every tragedy. It's sad, but it's pathetic, but it's predictable.
He's right. They're preventable. They are preventable, these instances. But how would the first thing you should do to every school in the country is have a metal detector? You should control the entry of kids and the perimeter around every school. And then let the left rushes the rush race to blame guns for every tragedy. What are we supposed to blame? What are we supposed to blame, Sean? How would have a metal detector helped when the shooter, the unhinged maniac who killed children, targeted children, shot through the windows into the church, killing the children who were praying, literally praying in a worship service through the windows? Would a metal detector have helped that? Would a metal detector have magically dissipated the bullet's path? Sean Hannity? This is from CNN. The shooter, 23-year-old Robin Westman, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound behind the church after the shooting, officials said. The shooter graduated from the school in 2017, and Westman's mother worked at the school from 2016 to 2021, 5 years ago. The shooter's name was changed from Robert to Robin because Westman identified as a female, a judge wrote. Westman's uncle is Bob Helleringer, a former Kentucky lawmaker who called the attack an unspeakable tragedy. The weapons, Westman was armed with a legally and recently purchased rifle, shotgun, and pistol. Authorities believe all three weapons were fired. And in Minnesota, a permit is needed to purchase firearms and also to carry them in public. So this asshole, this killer of children, shot through the windows. All of Sean Hannity's ideas and solutions wouldn't have helped. And in many, many cases, they would not have helped. In fact, the officers, the authorities on the ground say that the doors were locked, which likely caused more of a problem here. The same thing that Republicans talk about wanting to harden the target. You want to lock the doors and make sure they can't get in. Well, the person couldn't get in. The shooter could not get in, but the bullets could. The device, the projectiles from the gun that apparently is blameless in this, they could get through the window, Sean. As you attack Jen Psaki as a distraction for your ineffectual, your fecklessness, your idiocy, your callousness, your sinister nature of defending guns over the lives of children. Because again, There is no pile of dead kids too high for Republicans. There is no Olympic-sized swimming pool filled to the brim with the blood of victims that is too much for Sean fucking Hannity. Because the guns, you can't blame the guns. Think about the guns, everyone. Fucking ghouls. Elections have consequences. That's what we're always told, right? We need to send a message through elections that this isn't the way we want to live. What do you think? I invite you to give your feedback in the comments below. A lot of people get turned off by the piles of dead kid metaphor or the when I talk about blood-filled swimming pools, but something's got to wake people the fuck up. Because I don't know about you, but there is a level of death and carnage and destruction that is too much for me. A single dead child is too much for me. Comment below. You can call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, as always, daily@dollemore.com. I would appreciate your feedback. My heart's with you, Minnesota. We had a rough few months of armed gunmen, shooters, killers, maniacs. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.